Good morning and welcome back to my channel. Oh, well, it's morning here. So if you're watching this in the afternoon, good afternoon. And if it's at night, I hope you're having a good night. Hi, I'm Shonya. Welcome back to my channel. And this is Evolve with Grace. This is, I don't know, maybe going on to my third month of doing YouTube content. And I've gotten some really great feedback. I appreciate everybody's support. Please take the time to like, subscribe, share with your friends, and comment. Today's video is something that's been weighing on me, and it is not meant to be sad or cryptic or depressing. It is just a real life conversation. And on my channel, if you've seen any of my other videos, or you're new here, I'm just going to tell you that I am a person who likes to connect and have conversations with other adults who are navigating the evolution of life, the ever changing game of life. Excuse me. It's really early here. Anyway, this is weighing on my mind, and as a new YouTuber, you try to think of conversations that you want to have. Well, for me, think of the next video that you're going to put out. And I wanted to have this conversation because today I am going to a wake, what we call it here in the area we live in. I don't know if everyone calls it that. A viewing, a service for someone who's passed away. The someone that passed away, I think he was 48, 49 years old. I'm 50, and I'm pretty sure he's younger than me. We grew up together. Um, yeah. I hadn't seen him since I could say we were young. And when I refer to him, when I'm talking to people, I'll say, oh, I'm going to the viewing of this kid that I grew up with. Well, he is not a kid, he is a grown man. Where do I want to begin with this? A little bit about how I grew up. I grew up in a really big family, very close knit, loving family that we were so close that we could smell each other's breaths all the time. Just full of love. And with growing up in a big family, you get to experience a lot of babies, a lot of milestones, big moments in life. But you also, for me, we've experienced a lot of loss, a lot of loss. So as a young person, I had experienced losing a lot of people close to me. And my view of death was a view of fear. I was very afraid of death. Not so much of myself as a kid. I didn't think, when you're a kid, you don't think of kids dying. My biggest fear was that my parents would die. And I used to have this recurring nightmare over the years of my dad passing away, and me being at his funeral. And it was really hard as a kid because it would just rock me to my core. And I ended up losing a lot of cousins, lost my grandparents too early, just illnesses and not taking care of themselves. Like, for the younger people that passed away, I can look back and say, wow, they really didn't care for themselves. And you could see it, they'd wear it, whether it's their weight or their blood pressure. And sometimes you have no control over your health. You have no control sometimes over your blood pressure, or things that create the problem, things that you have, that problems that are created. People get sick and have problems all the time, and it sneaks up on them, and there's nothing that they could have looked back and say, I could have, would have, should have done something differently, right? But I can look back at them and I'll see, wow, they're very, I come from a family that's very passionate. Like, we could go from 0 to 60 with any emotion like that. Like, whether it's anger, whether it is kindness, love, compassion, any kind of emotion, my family members are so strong with it. And I am like that. I am very, I don't see it because it is my normal makeup to be emotional. Some of my cousins were so emotional that you couldn't handle having a conversation because they didn't know. Well, I'm going to say he, God rest his soul, didn't know personal space. Super emotional. Like when he told you he loved you, you felt it because it was in your face as he told you he loved you. So that's the kind of family that I grew up with. And unfortunately, I have lost way too many people. And as I got older and I had children, well, I lost my mom when I think I was 29 years old. 29 or 30. She's been gone 20 years now. Oh, 30. And that was way too young for my mom. I am 3 years younger, well, almost 2 years younger than she was when she passed away. So I get married, I have amazing children, and my fear of dying has shifted not from the of losing people myself because I hate to say this, it's like a scab, a wound that you get a scab, and the scars are always there, but you learn to heal and you learn to live. Lost both mothers, my husband's mother, mine, our grandparents, all of those elders that we had when it came to like our immediates have passed on. The only parent that we have living is my dad. So, yeah, loss has been a big thing in my family. And my biggest fear, what I was going to say, my biggest fear had shifted from losing people because I had unfortunately kept having to learn to deal with grief. Um, it was for my kids. My fear of me dying or my husband dying was so is so strong. It was so strong and is so strong. See, I get emotional thinking about it because I don't fear death for myself. I fear my children having to go through the loss of that. Um, my daughter, my one daughter has a close friend who lost both of her parents as a young child. Totally unfair. She was old enough to experience the loss. And I watched her milestones in life. And I watched her grow, and I'm so proud of her. And just got to witness her getting married. And the loss of her parents was felt. Like I felt them not being there. And I never met them. Um, I'm not going to say too much. There was a young, I say a young man. There was a kid that I grew up with. I'm going to call him a kid because in my mind, we were kids. We were kids at the time. We grew up together. And he was an altar boy at the church. He came from a beautiful Italian family who came to this country and made a great life and a beautiful construction business and a legacy for their children. And I watched him grow up and I loved him. He was a great kid. And as he got older, his lifestyle, he was very busy. He took over the family business, the construction business. He even did work on my house. And he took a wrong path. And he started doing things that were not in line of the person that he used to be or in line with the values that were taught to him by his parents. He ended up having five beautiful children. And his wife was somebody else that I grew up with. So I live in a small town, so we kind of all know each other around the same age group. And I remember telling him, his name was Anthony, and I remember telling him on my front porch, and I said, listen, I keep having dreams about you, that you're, of being at your funeral, that you passed away. And he definitely had a substance abuse problem. And I said to him, I said, you're gonna have to change your ways. I'm like, I fear for you because you are not living in alignment of what your family taught you. You have beautiful children and a wife that's amazing that depend on you, and I have this fear for you. And he would say, Shonya, come on. I said, I'm serious. Anthony, you really need to make some changes. I don't like seeing this funeral for you. Well, I'm going to say maybe 2 years, 3 years. Oh my gosh, I don't even know because time is flying. Anthony passed away. And to me, gone too young, gone too soon. My daughter's experience and our experience, we've seen one of her close friends died in 8th grade. So, the gist of this video. So, oh God. So the wake that I'm going to today is for another Anthony. And he was a studly young kid, like, really great personality, um, very outgoing, funny, charismatic, just a great young person. And when you don't see people for a long time, you kind of remember them the way they were, right? So I hadn't seen Anthony in years. But this thing comes out called Facebook. Social media comes out, right? And I'm thinking, man, this thing is the greatest thing. Because I can connect with people because I'm a connector. And I have friends from kindergarten still, and some of them watch these videos. And I love who I love. And I love the idea of staying connected with people. But over time, Facebook in particular has been a struggle for me because I see the ugliness, the vitriol. I see people arguing over things that they have no control over. I see people forcing their opinion and talking at people and not to people, posting their political stuff and who's posting their opposing political stuff and who's commenting their opposing political stuff. And I'm watching this and I'm like, God, I don't like this. I don't like this. I came here to connect with beautiful people. Show me your food, man. Show me the pictures of your food. Show me your puppies. Show me the pictures of your puppies. Because even though we thought that those things were redundant at the time, when people used to be like, oh, okay, here we go. Get to watch another picture of somebody's dog. Oh, look, wait, they're at a restaurant. Oh, look, they're having burrata cheese. Okay, yeah, I long to see people's dinner plates again. Okay, and unfortunately, I go on Facebook to find out whose birthday it is. That's what I use Facebook for. I go and I'm like, don't let me forget anybody's birthday today. Oh, let me look. Okay, it's this person's birthday. Let me make sure I text them. And I usually try to text and not even go through Facebook to give my happy birthday. I got tired of being a filter. Like filtering all the information through, filtering the ugliness, changing my views about people. I have a girlfriend who would say to me, Shonya, how are you still friends with these people on Facebook? Do you not see the ugly stuff? Do you not see the racist stuff? Do you not see the stuff that they're just like they were in high school? And bullies are bullies and this, that, and the other. And I'm just like, I can't do that. I can't. I said, I want to remember people the way they were when I spoke to them, my relationship with them. And I'm going to base my opinion of all the people who put all the shit, excuse my French, oh my God, I'm sorry, all the stuff, I'm a little passionate about that, all the stuff of their opinion when it comes to politics and anything divisive. I choose to have a conversation about it. If you want to talk to me about politics or anything, I am an open book. I am an open book because I know that everything that I do say or believe comes from my core values, and that is based off of love, kindness, compassion, and empathy. That is who I am. So I will have the conversation about anything. So anyway, unfortunately, on Facebook, you get to see who died. And it's sad. And so when I saw Anthony, the most recent Anthony that passed away, I knew his mom found him. And his mom grew up with my mom, and they were friends. And their other son was a year ahead of me, and him and I were friends. So in this lovely town that I grew up in, we have a lot of connections. But that's what I got to see. So I got to see people write posts about him, and even my brother wrote a nice post about him, that he was like a big brother. And I had no idea that my brother had a relationship with Anthony as well as he got older. But anyway, I looked at Anthony as an adult, and sometimes you see the young person and you picture them and you expect that that's who they're always going to be in some form. And I look at Anthony's posts when I would allow myself to be emotionally abused by constantly reading stuff on Facebook. um, I saw a difference in Anthony. And the difference was his view of the world had evolved with time and age and society and the world he lived in and his life experiences. He evolved. But I could see the difference in his worry, like the things that he worried about and the things that he would say. And I can tell that you can look at him and you could see that he carried a lot, whether it's stress, sadness, his physical body. You could tell that he was weighed down with stuff. And I'm like, wow, damn, what happens to us? Well, life happens to us. And life is not always easy for everybody. Life is not easy, period. But you have to be, I choose to be compassionate, empathetic, to understand that my life experience is not everybody's life experience. And yes, I've had some horrible things and some horrible experiences, but that doesn't negate somebody else's horrible. And it doesn't take away from mine because that's my lived experience. I saw it. And then I see the anger. And I looked at him, I'm like, God, he doesn't look healthy. Look, health has a way of sneaking up on you. I found out yesterday because my sister friend had texted me yesterday and she says, hey, did you hear anything on Anthony, how he passed away? And then I texted another sister friend and I said, hey, did you hear what happened with Anthony? And they said he had a heart attack. And Anthony carried a lot of weight around his stomach, like a lot of stomach, belly weight. And they always say to you, belly fat is really unhealthy. That's the worst kind of fat because it can impact your heart. So I go to think about that. And I'm like, oh, man, how much of our health, our mental health, our physical health is dictated by how we live our life, what we allow in, what we stress about, what we worry about. I'm saying all this to you because sometimes you got to unplug. And I don't have the answers for life's mysteries. I don't have the answers I can't tell you what to do, but I'm going to tell you some things that I've been thinking about and what I want to do. So like the Energizer Bunny that used to run around with the battery pack and he's clapping the drums, and he's going. I think even the Energizer Bunny appreciates when his batteries are drained a little bit because he gets to slow down. I think that we need to take time to unplug. Like literally go to the wall and unplug. I'm always on. And I've mentioned this before in a video that I can go to sleep and I have thoughts. I had a very deep conversation with our youngest daughter the other day. And she said some things that really made me think. And some of them, one of the things that she said, I keep playing in my mind because of my mom guilt. And it really stings me, right? And I keep replaying it in my head. So I guess for the last 2 nights, between knowing that I'm going to a funeral and then the deep conversation that I had with my daughter, the noise, like, again, and I find out that men don't have this. I think someone said it, and I think it was like some kind of a reel where they're talking about the narrator, the person that, the voice that you hear when you're laying in bed and you can't sleep, and it's like, oh, my mom comes to me a lot, and in my thoughts, I'm not saying she shows up in my bedroom. It's like in my thoughts, some of the things that my mom says comes to me. And I remember her saying, and I used to hate when she said this when I was a kid, you're going to miss me when I'm gone. Yeah, I am. And the greatest thing that she used to say is, give me my flowers when I can smell them. And I used to be like, what are you talking about? She's like, don't go to a cemetery crying over some dirt and putting flowers there. Don't waste your time and money putting flowers there. Give me my flowers when I can smell them. So I thought, oh, okay, you mean to say that don't wait until you're dead, till you're gone, to put flowers at a grave. Give you flowers while you can appreciate them and smell them. And it's the same thing for the words, right? So that has been in my head for a week. And I guess maybe with Anthony's passing, that kept coming. My mother's voice with the "Don't give me my flowers when I'm dead. Give them to me when I could smell them." Made me really think about that. And I always revert to the poem "The Dash," which is one of the most beautiful poems ever written. And if you have time, look it up. It's called "The Dash," and it is about your start date and your end date. Those two dates are guaranteed. Start date happened, end date is guaranteed. The dash is everything in between. It's your life and how you live it. So I'm listening to my mother in my head, and I'm like, you know what? People are going to get up and they're going to go to a wake or go to a funeral, and they're going to get up there and they're going to say all the cool stories. And they're going to say all the great things about that person that is not there anymore. And it's their way of sharing and honoring that person. And it's a beautiful thing. But how beautiful would it be to tell people what you think about them while they're here? And if you do that, then that's great. That's great. I try to do that. I love giving a compliment and not out of fluff. I love saying what I mean. Like I said, if I see somebody wearing a nice blouse, they will know that I think their blouse is nice because I don't want to hold back that compliment. I give it to that person. So the ceremonial piece of it is when people go up and they speak about you, and your eulogy when they talk about you and with all the things that you've done, or Shonya worked here, or who worked there, and what they did, and all these things. Tell them while they're here. I think that life has a way of being so busy that we take our moments for granted. I'm not talking about for our lives, but for those around us, right? So, my children experienced the loss of their grandparents, some of their grandparents, and my youngest experienced the loss of our great grandfather, her great grandfather, and she took that harder because I think that was her first mature experience of a loss, and she was very close to him, and she always wants to honor him in some way, and it hurts her often, but she really honors him. She talks about him. Her love for him is very strong, like it is for all of ours. But I look at how I have dealt with death because I've had so much of it versus someone who really hasn't experienced so much. And I try to tell her and impress upon her that your relationships are not forever. They're limited. And you need to make people know that they're important to you. And you need to show them that you love them and that you value them while they're here. Because I've seen it so many times of people talking about who they miss. And they'll talk about the stories, and they'll talk about the things that they wish they could have done differently. Only if I would have called more. Only if I would have spent more time with that person. Enjoy every moment. This is not meant to be morbid. Again, like I said, it's not meant to be sad. But my advice to you, and again, like I said, if you read the description of my channel, these videos are for you and they're for me. Enjoy the now. Unplug. Stop being on all the time. And I say that because we live in a time where people bring their cell phones to the bathroom. My husband said to me the other day, I challenge you to leave your phone when you go to the bathroom. I didn't realize I'd do that sometimes. I'm sorry. Please don't come for me in the comments. But I did. I left it. I'm like, of course, I don't take my phone to the bathroom. What? I don't know if we know how to be quiet anymore, to be still anymore. We need to learn the art of doing nothing and enjoying the moment. I could give you a perfect example. You can sit in your room right now and you could be watching me on the television or watching me on your phone, and there could be people around. Or maybe there's no people around. You're watching me on TV, you're watching me on your phone, and you're focused on me, right? There's a whole world going on outside of our little connection here, right? When you turn this off, wait till you get to the end, and you turn this off, I invite you to just go into a room by yourself. Sit there with your eyes closed. No TV on, no nothing. Just totally just do nothing. Just like sit in a chair and chill. Don't even worry about meditating or clearing your mind or praying. Just sit there. It is amazing what you will hear that you don't take notice to normally. And I'm saying this to you because I did this yesterday. And I just sat there and my house was quiet. Nobody was home but me. And what I heard was the sounds of nature, the birds, the scents of my house. I have always some type of, I have a Pura going or something to make my house smell nice. I'm so big into smells. And it was such an overwhelmingly beautiful experience. But I gave myself a moment to just be. What I wish for you is a bunch of moments of just being. I wish for you people to tell you what you mean to them. And I wish you the ability to be able to block out the noise and the things that don't make you feel good. And you can't control the world. You can't control politics. You can't control anything for the most part, except for yourself. What I wish for you is moments of peace and letting go. Even if it's for 5 to 10 minutes. I'm not saying to, to walk the world like as if nothing matters and stuff's not on fire in places. And, I'm not saying to be naive or gullible. I'm saying to take a few for you. Take a few for you to recharge your batteries, to plug back in, to unplug so you can plug back in with the tools and the peace that you deserve. Thank you so much for watching. If you went this long, God bless you. It's 28 minutes. I don't know if anyone's going to watch this to the end. If you do, surprise me and put a sunshine emoji in the comments. I'm sorry this is so long, but it's just something that was weighing on my heart that I had to share. And I hope you have an amazing day. Take care.